You good girl. Ugh. All right, so this is my Wolfmix, which I bought the other day. I've been wanting to buy one for a long time. They're bloody expensive. 1,200 Australian dollars. And that's on special. So, you know. Hopefully, it does what I want it to do, which will be to create much more responsive, performative, interesting light shows for my DJ gigs. Here it is here. Just a small device. I can plug it in with the cable that it came with. Ooh. So that's just plugged into my computer there. This is what it looks like. It's actually the second time that I've turned it on. I haven't really had time after Christmas, and I'm definitely not an expert. So I bought it to replace this, the Chauvet Obey 10, which, you know, can only do so good a job. You can program some different chases and scenes, and then while you're performing, you can kind of hit the next button. You've got 6 chases, so I've got like number 4, I did pink, so if I hit 4, everything would go pink, and number 2, everything would go blue, because number 2 rhymes with blue. But it's quite limited in what I could do, and that's why I bought this Wolfmix. And so the first thing that I notice when I get this thing out of the box is that it's not self-explanatory. It doesn't... I've definitely got a little bit of a learning curve to go. Ugh. So this is the other thing that I bought myself. It is the Betopper LM0740... What the fuck? I don't know. Whatever it is. So apparently this is a 4-in-1 moving wash. So it's a wash light, which means that it kind of casts just general color over your crowd. You know, whatever color that you want. And then it's got a few other features, which I vaguely remember. But I know that when I was looking at the videos, I was like, sick. Okay. And I like the way it looks. The BI kind of look. That's something that I just want. I think that it looks impressive and nice. And so I'm going to set this up with my other lights now, and we'll see. So it's the next day now, and I've had a little bit of time to experiment with the Wolfmix. And I'm going to go as quickly as I can through like the learning procedure that I went through with my Betopper light and this Wolfmix here. So first things first, my advice to you is to update the firmware and update it to the beta version, which is 2 point whatever. Beta version sounds scary to me, but it does seem pretty robust. If you're too scared, then don't do it. But what you do get is a whole lot of presets right out of the box, and I'll show you them right now. If we just click presets over here, they'll be on one of these pages. So, yep. So great, I've got all these presets here. So I'm going to hit startup, and great, I've got like a candlelight kind of vibe going on. I can change my dimmers so I can make them brighter. Good. And that's the advantage of updating your firmware. So I've already done quite a bit out of the box. When you get your Wolfmix, you're going to be asked to validate it with a code and download some software. You have to do this. You don't have a choice, which is great. And then you're going to be asked to add your fixtures. Now, when you add your Betopper, you'll have to scroll down to Big Dipper. And then it's going to be the Betopper moving light. You add that from the computer to the Wolfmix software, and it's called the Betopper LM0740D. So that's what you will add to your list. And that's your fixture. So I have my Betopper moving heads on group A. I've got my front pars on group B, and I've got my back pars on group C. And the cool thing is that Wolfmix will sort out all of the DMX addresses for you. So you don't need to think about, okay, this light has 20 channels, so the next light's going to be at address 21, and that light's got 42 channels, so that's like, you know, A plus 5 carry the X, whatever. the Wolfmix will just tell you what channel that it's got all of the lights on. I put the Betopper on to 35 channels, which is probably too much. Everyone recommends to put it onto 23 channels. And in your instruction manual, you're going to have a list of what the different channel modes will do. So you've got your 35 channels, and then each channel, it tells you what that particular channel does, whether it's your red, your green, or your pan, or your tilt. As soon as I set everything up, the exciting part is I noticed that this color button was probably it's probably the thing you should go to first, right? Because you want to change the color of your lights. You want to learn how to change the color of your lights. So you go to color, and there you can do that. You could make them all pink. You could make the backlights cyan, or the front lights cyan, and the backlights pink. We could make our moving head amber. And in the updated firmware, if you click any button, then you've got all these other options like mint. We've got mint there. We've got Pink Panther. We've got coral. Coral is nice. I like coral. Good, so that's your color. And then you've got color effects, which is slightly different. So this makes a whole bunch of different effects with the color. That's why it's color effects. So if we want to turn group A onto color effects, that's our moving head. We press that button. If we want to turn group B, it's the buttons at the top, right? So we're going to turn them all onto color effects. We've got sparkle. So I guess that's a bit of a sparkly effects. We'll turn the speed up with the knob. Too fast. Yeah, that's nice. We've got a chase. We've got a light fever, rainbow, etc. And I'm going to learn the ins and outs of what all these do later, but I know that that's color effects. We've got our move effects. So the only light that moves is our mover, obviously. The other ones don't move. So you can't actually turn them on anyway. And then we've got up and down. We've got left to right. You can put it in a circle. And on that topic, one thing that I had a problem with was that with my fixtures, I needed to restrict the movement, right? Because it was just going around and around. It was going in my face. It was going everywhere. And so I've got to select them. Whoa. And I've got to press this button up here, which is like the fixture limit button. And if you can see that, it's quite limited because, I don't know, it just is. So I've got it on minimum pan 56%, maximum pan 75%, maximum tilt 11%. Part of this is because it's hung upside down. And I had a lot of trouble because it wasn't really doing the right thing. So I had to go into the settings on the actual fixture, go to menu, fixtures, pan, tilt, invert, and I had to turn that on. So I had to invert the pan and the tilt. And after that, I could get it within a range that was suitable for my environment because I'm hanging it upside down, which isn't the best thing for a moving light, I've discovered, but it's how I've got to do it, right? So if you hang it upside down, go into the menu and turn inversion on, and it's going to save you a lot of trouble. So now I know that I can, my maximum range from left to right is all good. My maximum range up and down is all good. And that's exactly where I want the light to be moving. Okay, so we'll go back home. Live edit. Now this is a really useful place to be. I'm just going to turn the move effects off, go back to live edit. I'll hit an empty bay here, and I'll select the Betopper. So what live edit is it's not about editing live while you're DJing or whatever. It's about individually editing all of those 35 DMX channels, like from your instruction manual, right? So you've got, some of them are labeled and some of them are not. Just because it's a cheapish light and I guess they haven't labeled everything. You've got your zoom, your tilt, your pan. So it's like fine tuning all of the settings. You could do every single thing that your light can do. You can do it from live edit because they're your channels, they're your DMX values. That's everything that your lights can do. Okay, so we're going to go to page 2. Value 21 is awesome. I don't know if I've got it set up so that you can really see what's happening on the wall there, but that creates that cool BI effect that you've probably seen in the videos where it shoots in and out. I've been sort of experimenting with that. Again, I'm a beginner. This is beginner to beginner tutorial, but that was really useful. Okay, so live edit, we can get down to the nitty gritty of the light. Super useful. Now we'll go back to preset. And yeah, as I said, just a whole bunch of really useful, like one-click things that you can press to get an effect. So if you had a gig tomorrow, I would definitely update the firmware to version 2.0, the beta version, and use all of these presets because you're just not going to have time to program anything else. Okay, now on the right side, a whole bunch of cool things. So strobe and blinder and the Wolfmix button, or the Wolfmix button, strobe and blinder in the order that they're in. I've got them on flash mode. I would probably always have them on flash mode so that when I press them, the effect is in place because these are effects that you don't want to put on all day. Blinder turns everything up to full white. So you're blinding everyone. So it's like boom, 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 right? It creates that cool effect. So yeah, you can just kind of hit it while you're playing, and that's cool. Strobe is a strobe, so it's whatever light settings that you've got everything on, it's going to strobe them. And then you've got your Wolfmix button, which basically just makes everything go crazy. Again, boom, boom, and your blackout button. Obviously, that turns everything off. Super useful if you're in a dark environment, and it creates a cool effect. I like to black it out when people are singing Total Eclipse of the Heart or, Mr. Brightside or whatever. And yeah, that's what I've learned on the Wolfmix. I hope this video helped in some way or helps you to make a decision about whether to buy these things. I still don't know whether I should have bought these things. So, but actually it does look a lot better than the Derby light and the beautiful Chauvet DJ Obey 10 that I was using before. Yeah, I think that my next gig is going to be pretty beautiful. I'll start being able to really impress people, which is what it's about. My name's Jesse Finch. It's Finch Event Sound and DJ Services. That is the business in Perth, Western Australia. And ciao for now.